What's up, guys? I may be wearing a bandana, but don't worry, I am not in a gang unless you want to call the Nitro RC a gang. Yes, I am a member of that gang. In the last video, I asked you at the end whether you think it's worth restoring this vintage Thunder Tiger Tomahawk VX. This particular one is the Nissan 350Z. Really good looking body. I actually like this car in real life as well. I've driven one of these. They drive really nice. Unfortunately, many of them these days have been automatic, and if you can get yourself a 6-speed manual, this car is a beast in real life. I've surrounded myself with a couple of my other vintage RC Nitros that need repair. This particular one, let me show you. I know many of you have not seen this one ever. This is a Tower Hobbies Tower Terror. I know it's kind of a mouthful. Really cool RC. More on this one later. We're not going to get to talking about this one right now. It's just here for moral support. Behind me right here, we have another Traxxas Jado 3.3. It also needs some repair. Just so you guys know, this Thunder Tiger and that Traxxas Jado, and in fact the green t-maxx that I have, all came to me from the same exact guy. If you're watching this video, I want to say thanks, man. I really appreciate what you did, and don't worry, I am going to be working on your vintage associated RC10 soon. I showed you inside the engine. This was basically a test of, how clean it was and whether it was worth restoring. Many of you said yes, you want to see me restore this RC. So here I am on this table, about ready to get to work on restoring this. First, let me show you guys some interesting information I found online so we could in fact know what this chassis is before I begin tearing it down. This is the original product page for the Thunder Tiger Tomahawk VX. We have the Nissan over here. There's also a Nissan Skyline. I must say, I really like the way Thunder Tiger designed these bodies. Really good. I always thought that HPI had the best 10-scale touring cars in the industry, but Thunder Tiger did quite a good job. The chassis itself is typically normal for a 10-scale touring car. You have, a 3mm anodized aluminum chassis. You have a .18 3cc pull-start engine. That's typical. Double wishbone front and rear suspension. That's pretty good for handling. This has a 2-speed transmission. Notice this wheel hub. It is like a weird triangular design. We're going to look at that on the car later, see what it actually looks like close up. I'm going to tell you right now, mine is not stock. On my chassis, I do not have the 2-speed transmission, and my exhaust does not look like this. Whenever I try to research older RCs, I always go to Big Squid RC. You could almost always expect what you're looking for to be on here, and for there to be pretty good information. What I'm looking for here is the date the article was actually published. So let me scroll down here. Yep, it says Tomahawk VX will be available towards the end of this month with an MSRP of $479. That is a lot of money, I would say, for a Thunder Tiger, which clearly has not stood the test of time. And let's see what the release date of this article was. Okay, so it says June 1st, 2011. This is a fairly old RC. At this time, the HPI RTR3 shaft drive system's already out for like nearly 10 years at this moment in time. So, do I think this was a very good competitor for the RCs that were out at this time for $479? Probably not. I mean, the 2-speed transmission is pretty cool, but I mean, it's still a .18 size engine. I don't particularly see anything that unique here. But the body is exceptionally good looking. Hope you enjoyed some of that education. That was an original product video for this RC. They got some great footage in there, right? Okay, let me first test the electronics, and then I am going to be attempting to remove the engine. I already got my Dremel cutoff wheel here handy because, yep, one of the screws on the bottom of the engine mount is stripped. Go figure. This is part of the joys of Nitro RC restoration. You gotta get your Dremel out ahead of time. Alright, let me put the remote on. This is a really nice Airtronics radio. It is a 2.4 gigahertz, not the original one that came with this. But let's see if the electronics do in fact work. I already know they work, otherwise I wouldn't be restoring this. Alright, okay, steering is okay. I could see it has the original Ace RC servo in the front, and the throttle servo is also original. So the throttle servo does work. I just have the arm here disconnected from the carb because the carb does stick. So it needs to be oiled, maybe possibly disassembled. Usually there's a bunch of oil that just gunks up the carb itself. But as long as the electronics work, right, the steering is adequate. Probably the slowest steering I've ever seen. But this is a stock servo. But yes, the batteries in here are new. I just put them in. When you look at the bottom of this chassis, you gotta notice that this is not a complete aluminum plate all throughout the entire chassis. Now, pretty interesting design. I haven't seen anybody else do this. This is modular, so it looks like the top here and the front of the chassis, if you just remove some screws, it will remove the diff and all of your suspension components in the front and in the back. Pretty interesting. I actually picked this up when I was reading the original Thunder Tiger website. So yeah, I learned something today. This should be a 2-speed because as you look on top of this diff mount here, it looks like there should be 2 gears. There aren't 2 gears, it's only 1. Which, you know, obviously from the bottom you could also see just 1 spur gear here. The exhaust is not the original exhaust because the original one was kind of like this thicker pipe. This is some other exhaust, I cannot tell. Which is kind of surprising because the rest of the car itself seems stock other than, of course, the radio system. So for a person to put in a single speed transmission, maybe there was a fault with a 2-speed, I'm not quite sure. I am going to be taking out the screws right here on the chassis. 3 have already come out, 1 of them is stripped. Of course, as expected, you know, I was able to remove 3 screws. This one right here is stripped. So let's go to work with the Dremel cutoff wheel. Let's see if this minor slot is enough. Maybe I'll have to do some more. I don't really want to go too deep. Let's hope this is okay, guys. Thanksgiving Day prayers going out to me. Oh, yep, perfect. Look at that. Yeah, that's all it took, guys. You see that? Nitro engine restoration. Doesn't have to be that hard at all times. Look at that nasty screw. It's out. I could just remove all of these, and the engine is just gonna drop. Drop it like it's hot. Right? Drop it like it's hot. Engine is now completely free. I just got to remove some of the fuel tubing, the exhaust bracket right over here. But take a look inside. It is clean. I just got to disassemble it, possibly clean it on the inside. If you guys want to do this kind of stuff, you should definitely watch another YouTuber. He does this all the time. The Bug 404. He's actually ran a nitro engine on gasoline the other day with a gasoline specific glow plug. Pretty amazing. Watch his channel, guys. Cool guy. That's it. Just 2 fuel tubes, the exhaust bracket here, and the engine is completely free. Look at that. The heart of the problem in this RC, of course, other than the fact that it's a Thunder Tiger from about, you know, almost 10 years ago and it hasn't been really looked after. With the engine removed, we have a good look at the chassis. You could see that the front and rear suspension components are mated to the chassis with a plastic plate here. So it looks like you just remove these screws from the bottom of the chassis and this whole rear end is gonna drop out. Pretty cool. First thing I gotta do is also clean the fuel tank. There is still some, you know, looks like old nitro fuel in there. I'm gonna clean this off camera. Very interesting, honestly, I gotta say, for a car of this price point with a factory 2-speed, it has fixed links all around. None of the turnbuckles are adjustable anywhere. That is good and bad. Personally, I like the fixed links because you don't have to worry about anything. Although if you notice, this car has relatively improper tire wear. These are not the original tires. These are the HPI X pattern wheels. Some of the best for touring cars, I would say, in my opinion. But they seem to have a lot of really bad tire wear right here. And of course, if these links were adjustable and I had a situation like this, I would simply just turn it out a little bit this way and then problem solved. No notice the way the wheel is mounted. It is not a traditional nut as you would expect. It's actually a screw. I'm gonna use this wrench here and we're gonna remove it, see what the hub looks like. I know that we have a triangular design, which is what I'm expecting. Pretty long screw in there. Okay, here we go. The hub itself is a regular 12mm hub that you can expect on any RC, but notice the inside of the hub. Yep, it is a triangular design. What's cool is there are no wheel hub pins at all. This basically just slides on and you have a triangular looking style design. I mean, this reminds me of like the Mazda rotary engines. I know some of you guys know what I'm talking about, especially the Mazda RX-7, Mazda RX-8. This is like the Wankel rotary of the wheel hub world right here on this Thunder Tiger. Okay guys, that's it for now. Today is Thanksgiving. I'm done making videos today. I gotta go have some turkey in a little bit. Stay tuned, there's gonna be a lot more on this. This was just part 1 of the video series on restoring an old Nitro touring car. Part 2, we will be disassembling the engine, checking out exactly what's going on here. Alright, I'm done with this project. It is Thanksgiving Day. I'm gonna have myself some food. Yep, we got a nice turkey leg right over here. You don't need the whole turkey, you know what I'm saying? The leg is just fine. We got some vinaigrette, pretty healthy, like a beet salad style of thing here. And of course some rice with what looks like onion. Kind of like stuffing, but you know, different. No, that's good. Alright guys, bandana's coming up. Nitro Gang, see you later.